Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest iteration of the web series Accidentally Adopted. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 3, Chapter 10, Sins. Journal entry 31, date 155, name Greg George. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. Oh God, I told them, see Jesus with a Corman cross. I told them about Romanova and what I did to it. I don't think they hate me. Please, don't be afraid of me. I'd do it again. I'd do it again if anyone touches you guys. I love you. Please don't hate me. The proceeding is repeated such that it fills the entirety of 2 pages and columns. Dear Diary, Greg was really upset by what he told us, and I guess that makes sense. I don't really see anything wrong with his decisions, not the way he explained them. Honestly, I'm a little angry at his government for how they reacted. What should they have done? Sat back and let somebody else handle it? I don't know. I get that they broke the rules, but still, did they have to go that far? From what I can tell, the Emperor person had it coming. He's huddled up in his berth right now, so I sent Yoiv to go bring him some friends. Well, if I was that upset, I'd want a hug from my little brother, so I'm sure they'll forgive me for tricking him. Log 6,000,1.0.08. Personal, Captain Yongdrill. Today Yamdrill intoned dire threats of something unbelievably funny baffling me soon. Well, little brother, if you think you can prank me, do it already. I'd be happy if that was the only unordinary thing that happened today. While he does us the honor by telling us something so personal, he's not coping well with the strain of reliving those choices. Yovdrill is attending to him, though he does not know what is wrong. While I was on the bridge making sure that the ship was not suddenly dragged from hyperspace by a non-existent pirate trap, the entire family, sans Yovdrill, came in. I don't want to tell you the next part, Gregory said shakily, but I need you to understand me. You need to know what I did, the choices I made. I need... He took a moment to breathe deeply, deliberately, before he began again. While we managed to not lose anybody all that time, that doesn't mean that there were no injuries. We had some severe enough to need a couple of weeks in the hospital ship, and Valkyrie, spelled phonetically in proper name glyphs, she was behind our advance with a light guard of cruisers. Hospital ships are strictly off-limits for every government of my people, and even pirate fleets abide by that rule. We thought Nova Roma was a joke. They lured her escort into a trap. Don't ask me how it went. I don't understand space combat. Then they have a stupid name for their soldiers. I don't know how to translate it. Then they sent soldiers on a boarding action against the Valkyrie. They boarded a hospital ship under arms. Where am I? He had to stop to get his breathing under control before he started hyperventilating, so he could continue. My brothers were laid up defenseless. Then... Tears welled up and ran out of his unblinking eyes as the pain twisted his voice in his throat. They forced the doctors to remove the upgraded vestigial organs that would toxify our blood if the protein excreted by the grubs contacts hormones in the organ. Then they brought in a captured egg layers. The grubs turned every last soul on that ship into a spreader, and the Emperor threatened to unleash them on 20 core worlds unless the Republic surrendered our cradle world. I wasn't there. I missed. My brothers were screaming in their own heads. I wasn't there. I missed. They touched my brothers. I wasn't there. I missed. Trandy came in for the rescue and embraced him. She didn't say anything. She just gave him something in the here and the now to feel, to know. It must have worked. Gregory blinked the tears from his eyes and just breathed. He breathed deeply, deliberately, until he could talk again. His voice came out cold. They broadcast their crime on all channels. We saw our brothers' faces on the spreaders. We saw the screaming in their eyes. We knew what to do. The shipboards and the sailors knew what to do. We didn't need to hijack our own ship, our own home. We burned straight to the Valkyrie. I wasn't much one for boarding torpedoes, and I'm still not. But our crew, I trusted them not to miss. They didn't miss. We did what had to be done. We stopped the screaming. I didn't miss. We captured a ship they were towing with her, and all hands. We spaced them all, starting with the lowest ranked one and ending up with their commander. Pete said it was so that he could feel every last consequence of his orders to those he obeyed. He wept for his life. He said that he was only following orders for the Emperor. Pete said that it was a pity that he wasn't watching what he ordered play out. If somebody is willing to order that once, is willing to do it again. So we had to put a stop to the Emperor. We had to reach Romanova. What happens to people who hurt our family? We burned for their capital. I was an advanced scout, as usual. But unlike with the grubs, I know exactly how to sow chaos amongst people. People who should have known better than to make my brothers scream. We stopped the screaming. They should have known better. I sabotaged sanitation systems, water systems, and power production systems, and so did the other scouts. I put rounds through 3 or 4 soldiers in one city one night. I slit the throats of 5 more in another the next, and so on. We made the cities hotbeds of terror and misery, in addition to planting the beacons for drop pods and good locations. Then the Emperor addressed his people to calm their fears, to quell the riots. It was perfect. He addressed them from behind a thick plate of transparent armor, but I had my anti-material rifle. There he was, in my sights. There was the man who touched my brothers. There was the man who made them scream. There was the man who would do it again. We stopped the screaming. I didn't let him touch my brothers again. I didn't miss. He was silent then, for nearly a minute. I think in his shoes I would have also taken the shot. It clearly troubles him still, though. He went on, across the planet, my brothers didn't miss either. Each of them had one of the senior commanders in their sights. This caused a complete breakdown of the chain of command as the rest of our brothers hit dirt. He told them what they had to do to live. Just surrender the remaining senior officers and their legislators to our custody, and not one more soldier would die. It took them 5 days to decide they didn't like fighting us for real. We were there to kill, not scare them off with a show of force. Some of the prisoners were tied up and struggling against their own men. Others had surrendered themselves in exchange for sparing particular units. We gave the honorable the same food we ate. The cowards got bread and water. When we got back to the Republican space and handed over the prisoners, General Chest, Pete, and I were all arrested. General Chest had prepared us for that possibility and said that there might be a price to pay for our revenge. We would not dishonor our brothers by balking at the price. We stopped the screaming. The 3 of us went to our court-martial quietly. I had a person who knows the laws and regulations argue my case. A barrister, I offered softly. A barrister to argue for me. She got me to tell her my side. She argued well, and I was acquitted. So was Pete. General Chest was convicted for recruiting us, for training us, for deploying us, and for ordering the assault against Romanova on his own initiative, mitigated by the terroristic threat posed by their government. He was stripped of all honors, and his name was stricken from the rolls. This was done because he was too useful to execute. We did not take this well. They were prepared. General Chest himself begged us to stand down and accept what comes. He reminded us that we would be fighting against brothers and not enemies. That was the end of the Lost Boys as a unit. We were split up and sent where our jobs would be useful. We were sent to help other brothers. We could take that. It was different. The brothers outside the Lost Boys didn't really know how bad it can be. Most of them, anyway. Sometimes I'd meet a refugee, and he or she would thank me. I don't know why. My brothers were the heroes. I started getting marked grounded is the best translation. I started getting marked grounded on my mental health evaluations. I was frequently ordered to, Sanctuary is a good translation. The name isn't secret. I was frequently ordered to Sanctuary for mandatory leave. I understand why. In the field, I was getting out of regulation. I had a hard time trusting new brothers. They weren't as experienced. They made mistakes we'd learned to avoid. They put themselves in danger. I was operating on 2 hours of sleep in the field to compensate for my brother's inexperience. I was covering a third more area than I should have, and I was injuring myself to do it, so I had to go on leave after every deployment. But occasionally, I'd overhear gossip about the report. Apparently, while I was on mandatory leave or on deployment against pirates, or being the opponent's sniper in a training exercise, I was really off somewhere in the coalition. That's a sometimes rival, sometimes ally assassinating political figures. The new brothers seemed cold. It was hard to talk to them. They didn't like how quiet I was. They were frightened of me, treated me like I was dangerous to offend. They didn't tell jokes around me. They wouldn't poke fun. They never tried to pull pranks. It was miserable. I was just another brother, but they thought I was set apart, a set above. Life just kept getting cold. So cold. I'm still not sorry that I took the shot. I don't know if I can keep paying the price.
Dear Loggery, Sneaky is scared because he told the big people a secret. He said that the secret is too scary to tell me. I told him that I would be brave. He told me that a bad man made a monster get his brothers on purpose. He shot the bad man. Good, he deserves to be shot. My brother is a hero, and I am not afraid of him. I told him if a bad man hurt him, I would shoot the bad man too. He promised to never let a bad man get him. Good, he is my brother, and I love him so I do not want the bad man to get him.
End of chapter. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster 117, Casper Arnholtz, Dragzoon W.R.E, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, Jon Creighton, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.